right, people.
Smells like
Copy.
urine in here.
It's probably because dogs have been pissing in here. You want to spray the Febreze?
Nope, it's too late now. It's too late to hold your hands out. Hold me now. I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking maybe 6 feet. It's so far down.
Cool.
As we are poor as we are now. I'm not gonna put this on mic. Like it makes noise every time I touch.
Sure, man.
I'm just gonna hold on to it. You're so jealous. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Hello. Hello. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Do you like that dildo in your mouth? There it is. Have you always had that necklace? Oh.
All right, stop making creepy noises with the microphone.
Why would I make creepy?
Because you're creepy.
Am I creepy or am I not creepy?
Question. No, I'm pretty sure that you're pretty creepy.
If I was creepy, would I talk like this?
Yeah, probably. Is that how close you're gonna be? Is that how loud you're gonna be the whole time?
Well, I mean, I want it down here. Like, I just want to talk.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to hold a microphone in my hand. I don't care. Oh, they're on. We on?
What's up, dudes?
How's it going, man?
Did they catch me singing?
Did you guys hear that solo going on over here?
No, we didn't catch that. Could we get a repeat?
Yeah.
Playback?
Hey, come on.
All right. I don't like to hold the microphone when I talk.
See, that's good, right?
Damn, what? Freestyles. Got
Can I go with you guys or what?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, your TM and backup folks.
Cool. I'm game. I'm game.
Oh, how's it going, boys?
It's good, man. How are you guys doing?
Good, definitely.
What's how's the weather out in Canada these days?
It's really hot today.
Yeah, is that weird out there?
For this time of year, it's usually what is like 35 degrees today. Yeah, pretty much. Humid as hell.
Oh, nice, dude.
Right.
Is it still?
You guys are American though, right? You're with Fahrenheit.
Yeah. We're.
I don't know what that would be in Fahrenheit, but yeah, fuck, I don't know.
we live in Southern California where the temperatures always suck. So
that's sick. Where exactly?
SoCal around Los Angeles, probably 30 minutes outside LA.
Roughly Orange County.
Orange
County, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, cool, guys. Thanks so much for joining us for a little chat here.
Thanks for having us, dudes.
Yeah, hey, we're fans, man. We like what you guys are doing.
Thanks. It's awesome.
All right, cool. I'm gonna do a quick intro and then we'll just dive right into it.
Totally.
All right, that's going. All right, cool. Hold up one second.
Oh, dang. Clouds while we chat. Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Hey guys, welcome back to Topicocalypse, the only podcast on the internet. Don't bother researching that because it is 100% true, right, Justin?
It's not true.
It's
not.
It's
true
mostly true.
I mean,
we'll
talk about it.
Joe Rogan actually stole the idea from us, so
damn.
I hate that guy.
He's
Joe Rogan's awesome.
he's a genius.
See how that works? Like every time I hate somebody on a podcast and the other people.
Yeah, let me just ask let me just ask you guys something real quick. Are you Under Oath fans?
Yeah, but totally. What type of Under Oath are we talking?
Okay, wait, are you new Under Oath, like their recently released album through their newest album that sucks.
It's called Erase Me, right? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that album with all those songs on it. Yeah.
I only heard the first single.
Yeah, me too.
It's a little dad rocky, but
yeah.
I haven't listened to the record though, so
I mean, I could never bash a band like that for just keep doing it, because eventually you just get to a point where you're like, what else do we do here, guys? Like, what else do we do with our lives? And I guess they just keep doing it, you know. But it's not my thing. I'm not going to listen to it. But
there we go. See, the last band we interviewed, I definitely was like, oh yeah, I think that the new Under Oath album is awful, and all 5 of them had Under Oath tattoos.
oh,
actually,
yeah, they were like rolling up their sleeves. I thought they wanted to fight, but they were just showing us their tattoos.
I'm gonna guess they got those tattoos before that record.
Yeah, exactly.
So they don't necessarily have to stand up for that record. I'm sure.
that was our hope.
Yeah.
You never know though. Fresh ink. Somebody pulls off the bandage. They're like, check it out.
It's all like infected and red.
It's still green.
No, I mean, we don't dislike. Well, I mean, I guess Justin does. I like Under Oath.
I love Under Oath up until Define the Great Line, and then anything after that to me is just
meh. Yeah.
Well, because I saw Define the Great Line live, and then I went and saw the when they released the album after that, and it wasn't a good show.
They're only chasing safety before Define the Great Line.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was really just into those 2 records. I kind of started listening to other shit after that.
Yeah, see those were the Under Oath albums.
That was a real. I still listen to that CD.
Yeah, no doubt. We're all on the same page, I think.
Yeah.
So it's awkward.
All right, cool. Well, let me finish the introduction here. My name's Josh. This is Justin, and we are joined here by the band Mayfield. What's up, guys?
A couple lads from Mayfield, at least.
A couple lads from
Mayfield. I'm Zach.
Make sure you get their names because you never get their names.
Well, they're talking, and then you just kind of talked over them.
Sorry, guys.
You can have a mess.
That's all right, gents. That's all right.
Sorry. So names. Where were we?
I play guitar and vocals in the band.
He plays vocals.
Yeah, I play vocals.
Play vocals. That's interesting.
Like that sort of thing.
A lot of tapping on the larynx.
Yeah. I'll show you a voice sometime.
Okay.
My name's Zane. I play drums.
All right. Cool. All right. So tell me about.
Yeah, a lot of us live together. Bass players chilling over there.
He's making dinner.
It's like, hey,
what's he making?
Eggs and toast. He really just eats breakfast always.
I mean, is there ever a bad time for breakfast?
No.
It's the most important meal of the day at all times of the day.
At all times, yeah. I feel like breakfast is a stereotype. Like you can only have bacon and eggs and pancakes before the hours of 10, and if you have it after that, people are always look at you like, "What the hell is the matter with you? Why are you doing this?"
What a shit.
Yeah.
What a shit.
Well, breakfast is just a lie to begin with, but we don't have to get into that.
Yeah. But McDonald's acknowledges it all day long now. So if McDonald's acknowledges it, then I acknowledge it.
It must be true.
They're the standard. they are the standard.
Yeah, it's golden standard.
All right. Well, hey, tell me about the band. Tell me about Mayfield. How'd you guys get together? Did you always start out in the genre you were in? What did the fans need to know?
Well, I guess I'll start that one off. I was in university at the time taking music, and then realized that, damn, I don't want to be a music teacher. I just want to play in a band. And so I started to get a hold of some friends that used to jam with. I was always kind of jamming with a couple of the boys. Brad, the bass player, him and I just started writing some tunes similar to the stuff that we used to make. We used to play like heavier metal sort of stuff. We always kind of wanted to play something a little lighter with clean vocals and kind of, start to mix genres a little bit. Anyways, we were jamming. We got a hold of a couple of the other guys that we used to jam with, and then we needed a drummer. And I got in contact with a girl who I actually went to school with at the time, who was telling me about Zane. So I'll let you take it from there, because that's back in the safekeeping days.
Totally.
At that point. Yeah,
like I knew like all the dudes that are in Mayfield, but I wasn't really friends with any of them. Like we all went to the same high school, but I'm younger. And I knew Brad since we were children, but we were never like very good friends. But he asked me one, I guess it was 2013.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad? He just asked me if I want to play drums in a band, like It Prevails, and that was like my favorite band at the time. I'm like, shit, I could do that. I didn't play drums in a couple of years, so started jamming with them, and yeah, that was 2013. It was pretty slow going, like being 2018 now, it's 5 years, but we didn't really start, I guess, taking it very seriously until the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of, I guess, years where time kind of flew by and we were just dicking around and having fun. And then eventually we're like, all right, let's try to make something out of it.
Is that when the EP came about?
Our first EP we did in Ottawa. When was that? 2014, I want to say. So that was soon after we started. Once we got the first 5 songs that 5 or 6 songs on that.
On Let It Be Known was 5 songs.
Yeah.
I think.
So once we got the first kind of 5 songs we were happy with, we just tracked them with a guy in Ottawa, and that was a blast. And then after that, we were still kind of taking it pretty slow, I would say, for then until we did our last EP, which we went to California to do with Sam Pura at the Panda Studios. And that was quite an adventure.
That was in 2015.
Yeah. That was an adventure.
An adventure.
Yeah, we learned a lot. But a little naive going into it, It's pretty exciting. We just got an email one day just being like, hey, do you guys want to work with us at the Panda Studios? And we actually had already made a deposit at the time. Actually, no, we didn't make a deposit.
It was the day
we
we
were
were
going to make the deposit that day.
Right.
With the guy who we actually did our most recent recording with that we haven't released yet, that actually with Blossom, Sam Guyana from Toronto. He actually did our most recent stuff that we haven't released. But we actually had a deposit, we were about to put a deposit down with him. We had everything set up. And then we got this email from the manager at the Panda Studios saying, hey, do you want to come down and work with us? And we were like, okay, pump the brakes. This is a little weird that we kind of got this, Should we take it? Should we talk to Sam? Sam Guyana, that is. It's confusing. There's 2 Sams.
Sam Guyana and Sam Pura.
Okay. I thought there was a Sam and a Diana. And I was
No, not Diana. There's no one named Diana.
No Diana.
Story.
All right.
But anyways, we just thought it was kind of a weird coincidence that it kind of happened the day we were supposed to make the deposit. We talked to the guy who we were supposed to do it with, Sam Guyana, and he was like, man, go. If you guys want to go and do it. Like, he was super chill. He's like, he's worked with Sam Pura in the past. He's like, it's a cool dude, go do it. It'll be a good experience for your band. So we ended up doing that. And then fast forward until the last year, actually 1 year ago, basically now. We went back to Sam G, the guy who we were supposed to go with in the first place to do Hollow Embrace. And we did our newest stuff with him, and we were a lot happy with it. We kind of wish that we had done that all along. I guess if we could go back and do it again, we would have just went straight with Sam from Toronto. But, live and learn.
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you said there's something happened when you guys were recording over here. What was there some kind of strings attached to it?
Not really strings attached.
It was a lot of fun, and I would say fun first, record second, sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were there to have we were just kind of having a good time, sort of thing. And the record just kind of wasn't, it would be super important, and then it would be like, all right, we're not going to do anything today, and then super important, got to get all this shit done. And then it was just a weird kind of, instead of having a schedule every day, we just got blocks of it done. It was just on, off, on, off, on, off. And it was kind of funny like that. Sam's Pura is a hilarious guy, and he's a genius in his own way, in his own right. But he's a crazy guy to work with.
There's an echo.
Hold on one second.
Technical difficulties.
I don't know if that's going to did not do anything.
Sounds great over here.
Okay, hold on. Let me unplug the mic. Hello?
Hello.
Still going.
That's okay. We'll bear with it.
All right, cool. So how long did the process take to record the Hollow Embrace?
We were in Fremont for 2 weeks. So that was the recording process. I guess the post-recording process was over a year.
Oh wow.
And that was
Yeah.
that was like the frustrating time for our band.
Yeah.
Where it was pretty shaky for a while. A lot of stuff went down post recording that and before releasing it. And we're definitely in some steadier waters now, but that was a tumultuous time.
It's tough. Like you put you put your heart into something, and not just that, but like everybody's wallet, and and when it's not, obviously, like what you have in your head isn't what you see. Like that's okay, but when it's like when you're sending it to people and they're like, "What the fuck happened here?" You know what I mean? You're like, okay, something's wrong. Like something's not right here. And that was like the post. When we were there, it was okay. But once we got home, it was really tough. The communication, like in hindsight, we should have done so much more mixing when we were there, right? When we could sit beside each other and be like, yo, what do you think? Blah, 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 go through it and like really try and nail down tones and levels and stuff like that while you're there. Do a little pre-mix, try and get on the same page. But we were like trying to nail down stuff until the very last minute we left. So it didn't leave a lot of room to go back and listen to things and really mull things over. So when we got home, we're trying to do all that over like this, over the internet. And it's just tough when you're not beside somebody, right? And you're trying to describe to them, and you're like, I don't know, man, I just can't hear anything. Like, can you just make it better? Like, anyways, it was tough especially for the band too, because you're trying to move forward as a band, trying to constantly, get more shows, trying to tour, etc. But we don't want to tour off shit we did 2 years ago. We don't even play it anymore, like this shit's starting to get old. The stuff we recorded, like it's like, holy fuck, like we really gotta get things going. So it's tough as a band, and I think Sam, the producer that we worked with for our last release, like he really understands that. He really understands how important it is to a band to really not only have that piece be like very, very like they're involved in it just as much as you are, very heartfelt, but actually get it back to them very, very fast, very professional, bang, bang, bang it out, because or else not, it just sticks a stake through our spokes, like, and we just have to stop as a band until you get that,
Yeah, and that's good. You guys pursue the vision that you have.
Yeah,
Totally.
Is that something you went back and tried to clean up, or like how quickly, like say, hey, I'm gonna stop patching this out and kind of just move forward without it?
Sorry, your mic's cutting out a bit. Can you?
Is my mic cutting out? Okay.
Let me unplug your mic.
Yeah, dude, it's probably me that's getting. Hello. How we at now? We good?
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, how quickly? I guess did that. Let me rephrase the question because I forgot it. Going back to that, how quickly was it like something where you guys were just like, hey, did you guys try to clean it up, or did you? I don't know why I keep.
Yeah,
for Hollow Embrace.
Yeah.
Or did you guys like stop passing out, and just decide to move forward without it?
Well, their manager was with us through thick and thin. Their manager was dope.
Yeah, the guy that invited us to Panda Studios, his name's Johnny. He definitely was by our side through the whole process. There wasn't like too much he could really do, but eventually the conclusion was that we had to pay. There's a guy named Dan Bronstein.
Yeah.
He works in LA. He's a producer and a mixing and mastering engineer. We had to pay him to reamp the whole record, all the guitars, and remix it.
Did they send you guys the stems, or did you have to re-record everything?
No, we had all the stems and stuff like that. Johnny took care of all that, so he made sure that he had everything. And Johnny actually like supplemented the mix for Dan, so it didn't cost us like as much. Kind of like took some of the money that we had paid to get it mixed at Panda and kind of bumped it over. I mean, it wasn't actual money. It basically came out of his pocket. Like he's a solid dude. He just wanted us to get it done. It lasted so long.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, you can draw your own conclusions as to why we had to pay someone to do that, but it's behind us, and I think we're a lot happier with our newer stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of that, I listened to a couple of your newer songs. I like them. Like it feels like it's like you guys are on a whole nother level from Hollow Embrace. Is there a plan to release an album, like a full length one?
I mean, it's kind of something that we're sitting on right now. It's something that we're trying to figure out what is the best kind of approach for us to do, sort of thing. You know, because everything matters these days. Like how you approach your releases is always super important. So we're trying to do it systematically and to try and make sure that we're giving ourselves like the best opportunity to kind of progress as a band. So we definitely intend on releasing something as soon as possible. But with that kind of in mind, we don't have any set time as to like when that will be, sort of thing. Like we don't feel as pressured to do it because, you know, we can run off of some of the singles and, you know, work on shooting music videos and stuff like that. Like there's still a lot of stuff to do behind the scenes, sort of thing.
Yeah. So it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah, totally. But the sooner the better, obviously. But you know, we just released Blossom recently. So that's one of the tracks that we did with Sam Guyana from Toronto. And you know, we will intend on releasing some more soon. Whether how many we release before we drop anything, we don't know. You know, it's just kind of all go with the flow, sort of thing. Like see how people are reacting.
Yeah, like there's not a huge game plan in terms of like when stuff's being released, but we knew it could potentially be a while, so we wanted to at least get one song out there so we could, I guess, in a way, like just stay relevant, but also just kind of give people a bit of a clue as to what they can expect in the future.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's good. Yeah. Just hey, the new music's good. Like Blossom, I noticed was you guys had more clean vocals, but it also felt a lot heavier. Was that on purpose?
Yeah, I would say Sam, that was one of Sam's biggest tracks, I want to say. I want to say that's one of Sam's biggest tracks where we had the idea for that track down. That was another thing that was great with working with Sam is that like when we went to Cali, we kind of like came with the songs and we recorded those songs. You know, it was just like, here's the songs we wrote. And it's like, okay, cool. If those are cool, let's record them. And they're like, well, what do you think? And it's just kind of like, well, they're your songs. But we wanted that hands-on stuff, especially with some like our newer stuff. And Sam Guyana in Toronto, when we went there, we had, 3 days of pre-pro at least, where we just sat down and just tore them apart, right? And he just really got his hands in there and was like, okay, this is what you guys are good at. He wasn't too handsy. He wasn't like, all right, this is what you guys are going to be, right? But like he worked with us. He didn't like tell us what to do, but we were constantly asking for his recommendations. He's constantly being like, all right, you know, like this part of the song has a lot of gravity to it. You know, like I want to bring this part back. Like that was part of something that we've done in the past as a band is we've been a little more progressive, like with our music writing, you know, like no choruses really, like one chorus, maybe two choruses. And not just choruses, but like verses being the same progressions. You know what I mean? Like in the past, we've just been like, just ripping, just trying to write riffs, you know? And Sam was more, he still wanted us to write riffs, but he's trying to help us balance that and try and really sculpt our songwriting into be something that's more, that has more gravity to it, that somebody can really, that has that re-listen value.
So he was trying to keep the vision intact, but at the same time kind of lead you guys forward to what he thought was going to be make it successful.
Yeah, totally. Without giving like not too much away, like we noticed that off of Hollow Embrace, like our most successful song by far was I Owe You Everything. And we tried to kind of take the elements from that song that people really enjoyed, and we figured people wanted more of that. So we thought that was like the appropriate route to take.
And we liked it too. you know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like we
Well, good.
it wasn't like we're just like, I guess this is what people want to hear, so that's what we're gonna have to play, sort of thing. But like it wasn't always a part of the band that we all liked. Like we always liked the kind of clean vocals. But I don't really know why we were so afraid of them. I guess we didn't want to be Jekyll and Hyde. That was always a big thing for us that kind of scared the shit out of us. We really didn't want to be one of those bands with just like the super heavy like
verses and breakdowns,
and then the choruses come in and just like nah, 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 nah. Yeah, none of that. That's like the worst, like, you know. So I guess for that reason, it takes a little bit more effort to write a song that does have a clean chorus and doesn't have a clean verse, and try and really mix those elements properly and not just smash them against each other.
Right. That was kind of like early 2000s, back when like this type of music was sort of new. You hear a lot of like what you guys were talking about, the really like clean vocals, and it is so formulaic.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe a nice like synth lead over the chorus, you know.
And everything was Hawthorne Heights.
Yeah.
No, I really felt the build from I Owe You Everything to Blossom. It kind of like, I think going from those are the only two songs that were on my YouTube play, but going from from that to Blossom, it was actually, I was like, oh, this is sweet. Blossom hooked me. I ended up listening to like 3 or 4, 5 times with him.
Thanks, bro. Awesome. Thanks, dude.
But going back to I Owe You Everything, I really but there's like
we're getting some the feeds cutting in and out.
Oh, okay.
You got me?
We're getting clogged up.
Yeah, the it's getting pixely, it's getting a little choppy.
That's the problem with Google Play.
Oh, no, Google Hangouts does that. How we doing now? We good?
It's better now.
Starting to sort itself out.
All right.
I guess I felt the emotion behind I Owe You Everything, and I was just wondering like where the meaning or for that song.
Cut out at the last second, but I think I got you. I won't make you ask the question again.
I mean, I could ask it again if you want to. I felt the emotion behind I Owe You Everything, and I was wondering what the meaning or what the the song meant to you in that sense.
That was actually word for word. He went and in the middle of the last one.
Yeah.
Well, we can hear it over line for line there. So
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote the lyrics to that song, not all of them, but the hook and the verses and stuff. Patty and I like to do that often, where we just bounce stuff off of each other. And Zane actually writes most of our clean melodies, because like I just write like 3 notes and it gets boring as hell. So he writes a lot of other music that's more has more depth in terms of cleans, so he kind of can bring that to the table. But when I wrote I Owe You Everything, it's about my family, and it's just about I've been very fortunate to have a really good upbringing and just have like a very tightly knit family, where we have that kind of support system, just people to kind of, especially being in a band, having people to come home to, and just kind of keep you moving forward.
That's cool too, because it kind of shows that you hear a lot of people in bands have some kind of dysfunction in their past in their family, or they have like daddy issues or something, and that's what like drives the music forward. But it's cool to see that even somebody with a normal upbringing can still make good music.
Totally, yeah, man. I really appreciate that. That's basically the idea behind it. Is just be thankful, I guess, for what you got, if you got it, and just I'm sure you got something, and just be thankful for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's why I loved it. It's something where I was like, hey man, I could relate to this song, for sure.
Well, yeah. Oh, sorry, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, people can write about whatever they want. So, my train of thought just completely. It's like it's so gone. I totally forgot what I was saying. Anyways, continue.
You want us to pause?
Oh, dude, that's cool. Do that pretty often, so I'll say a couple words and then I'll just draw a blank. So
sounds good. Well, if you reel it back in, feel free to interrupt Justin.
I'll scream out what I was thinking, even if it's 10 minutes from now. So
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's cool. We'll turn it into a song.
Well, while we're on themes of music, so I noticed that there are a few prevalent themes in your music. I'm just gonna throw some things out here, okay, and tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Okay.
There's the theme of like failed or uncertain love, sort of coming of age stories in the lyrics, and depression. Am I close?
Yeah, that's a lot of it. I would say, as another one, just kind of everything to do with kind of bringing things back down to the basics. You know, just like not trying not to overcomplicate everything in life. You know, that's kind of a big theme for us too. Just trying to stay grounded. You know.
Yeah, and like a lot of it too. I noticed in the songs you kind of like start out with an idea and then you unravel the idea, or even like in the form of unraveling a person's mindset. And it's it's really cool to read some of your guys' lyrics.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Patty would be humbled by that. He has he writes a lot of different styles of music too. He draws from tons of different influences. I don't write most of the lyrics. It just happens to be the songs that I did write more of were Blossom and I Owe You Everything, but that's because I did a lot of the clean vocals on them. So I kind of write that and then bounce it to Patty, and Patty writes his parts, etc. But for all the other tracks, he all the credit to him. But he does a lot of poetry. Like he writes a lot of just kind of freehand stuff. He's always been like that kind of creative type of mind. He does like crazy weird doodle arts and stuff. He's just kind of always got something out there, you know. So got a very unique style.
Yeah, and that's cool too, because I know like when you're creative or even like doodle drawings, lyrics, whatever, like you experience a certain amount of like vulnerability when you're putting all that stuff out there, and like that's I mean it's courageous, but it's also like I guess it helps too, like with whatever he might be going through at the time.
Absolutely, 100%.
What are your guys' influences in the music? Like what other bands did you guys come up with and kind of helped shape the kind of music you wanted to make?
What would you say recently?
It's hard for me to say because like I'm only writing drum parts. Like I'll like Zach said, I write a lot of like the melodies for the clean vocals, but I don't write the lyrics. So I mean, there's not like for influences in terms of drumming. I really like my three favorite drummers are probably, or records for drums. I like all the 1975 stuff. You guys?
Okay. Yeah, I've heard them.
Yeah, George Daniel is like an insane drummer, and then there's a band called Crooks from the UK. Do you know them?
Yeah, they're popular over here too. They play them on the radio a lot.
Oh, really?
Yes.
all the time.
So they had a full length. Are we all the same distance apart? And the drums on that CD are like just
insane.
fucked. Like I've never heard anything like that. So I can't drum that well, clearly, but I like to listen to some weird shit he does and try to draw from that. And then the one record in particular from Counterparts, Tragedy Will Find Us. I really like the style of drums because I know they go through a lot of drummers. So I think
Changes
it was
as they go. Sort of.
Yeah. Kelly, I think, did that record, and I really, really like the drums there. But yeah, in terms of like writing, I don't really write, so I shouldn't really be talking about influences because fuck what I think.
You could have spat some stuff out there. We probably would have believed you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, cool, man.
Justin plays bass, so nobody really cares about what he's doing.
I mean, I write most of usually the writing for the instruments, at least, just usually starts with me riffing on a guitar. And in the past, it's been. You guys know Napoleon?
No. Are they? What kind of music are they?
Oh, they're melodic hardcore, but they're just technical as shit. Just the riffiest stuff ever. A lot of two-hand tapping stuff, and just very very talented guitar player in that band. So I draw a lot of influence from him. It kind of changes as you go. You know what I mean? Like you'll find yourself being like super into one record, and then like you'll write a couple songs while you're listening to that, and then like you'll move on to other types of music, and you'll just kind of write a few different songs that kind of draw from that. And I think that's kind of what's cool about being in a band is like as you're other people are releasing music and influencing your music at the same time. It's kind of like this duality, you know, where you're all kind of like that music, that scene that people are like listening to each other's music, you know, like you're almost bouncing ideas off of each other in a very strange way.
Like indirectly. No, that's cool. Because I mean, it also like helps you kind of capture a moment in time, like how you're feeling when you're writing a certain song or something like
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
that. All right, so I have a weird question for you guys. When you look up Mayfield on iTunes, there's you guys, there's a soul singer, and there's a rap group. Do you ever
There's a rap group?
There's a rap group, yeah, and it's like it's yeah, it's pretty weird. But do you guys ever have people like expecting you guys to be playing a certain type of music and it's just not what they thought it was?
Oh,
I don't know.
Sometimes we'll get tagged in events. It's like a jazz festival.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah.
It's not so
Yeah,
like
totally.
take the
Yeah,
traffic.
exactly. Yeah, but we're not playing any jazz festivals anytime soon. So other than that, I mean, I guess, yeah, they're in such different like spaces of like music. So I guess like in terms of like groups on the internet that I think they don't really get, the confusion doesn't really get crossover. Like say there was a band called Mayfield that maybe played like heavy rock or something, there might be more confusion. But I think since those bands are so like on the other side of like genres that we don't really get mixed up with them.
I think we're the safest out of the three. I think the hip hop group and the soul group have probably, you know.
Yeah, they probably bump into each other.
You'll let them duke it out, and then you'll just be in the end.
Yeah.
It's funny because the last band we did was a 1-letter difference. So if you type in like it was Young Ghost, and if you type in Young Ghost, then all of a sudden you have this like totally like hardcore like rap group come out.
Oh, it's just the plural on Ghost?
Yeah, it's just the one letter, and all of a sudden you either get their band or you get this really hardcore like, you know, gangster rap.
Shit.
What music did they play though?
They're metalcore.
Okay, well at least it's both some sort of core.
Yeah. So it's just funny because I got Chris Mayfield when I looked you guys up the first time on
Totally. Yeah, that's
Spotify or something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of singers who's not even just groups called Mayfield, but just people whose last names are Mayfield.
Oh yeah,
that
so many secondary schools and old age homes. That's probably where I got the band name from.
Yeah, that was actually gonna be my next question. Was that like a place you guys grew up or passed driving one day or something?
No.
Is there even anywhere around here with anything called Mayfield?
The closest one was the boys in FC had one of them went to Mayfield Secondary School or
really?
high school.
Oh shit.
That's probably in the GTA. So somewhere around Toronto, there's a high school named Mayfield. That's the closest thing to here, but it's got God's dick to do with us.
All right, cool. So I came across your guys' music while listening to the Dreambound channel on YouTube. Do you guys get a lot of fan base from that?
Oh, definitely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's I think any band in our genre, that's like a saving grace for them. It's just like it's such a cool community, and if you're lucky enough for Manny, like I talk to Manny quite a bit, the guy that runs it. If you're lucky enough for him to like your band, like I don't know, that you can't really pay for that kind of publicity, you know. Playing in this genre is just it's like the perfect place to be, you know.
Yeah, because they have a lot of really good stuff on there, and it's all very it makes you feel things, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, totally.
It's very emotional. All of his bands on there, for the most part, at least. It seems like every video that has a girl in it, it does like super awesome though. So there's a lot of sausages in those subscribers. But even when we first started out as a band, it used to be called Faith, Love, Hope way back in the day, way back when we first started the band. And there was maybe a dozen bands that he had on there when we first started. And I remember thinking like, damn, like, because I was getting influenced by these guys and just thinking like, damn, like this is where I want to be, you know, in a couple of years, like have a band and we can be on this channel. And actually, by the time it came around, he had moved on to, it was now Dreambound at that point.
I think when we one of the songs from our first EP, Let It Be Known, was called Wide Awake, and we had a really funny.
Oh shit! It was on Faith Love Hope.
We had a really funny music video for that song. It was called Faith Love Hope at that point.
It was. You're right. I remember the logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think there was a pretty long gap between that song and then the next thing we ever put out was I Owe You Everything. And I think by that time he was called Dreambound. I'm pretty sure.
So you guys did something before Hollow Embrace. How do you find that album? Is that up on iTunes or going to be?
You're gonna have to dig through We Are Triumphant.
Do you know that label?
Digging up the grave. Oh.
No.
You know the label We Are Triumphant? You haven't heard of that record label?
No, is that who you guys were with before?
Well, we put that out independently, and then we got signed to We Are Triumphant, and then they were gonna re-release it for us.
They did.
They did re-release it for us, and then we left that label
immediately.
But now they own the rights to it, so I don't know where you can find it.
I think it's probably on Spotify, but you probably have to search like the record name because it's not associated to our group.
Yeah, it's not on our Spotify.
Oh, you're still here. Everybody.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Actually,
if you type, it's called Let It Be Known. So if you type in Mayfield Let It Be Known into Google, you should find it somewhere. Like it might be on the Weird Triumphant Bandcamp page. It's probably on iTunes, but it's not under our artist name.
All right, I'll check that out with Napoleon after.
Yeah, dude, check out Napoleon.
I think actually if you type in Mayfield Wide Awake on YouTube, I think that first music video is still on Dreambound from like 5 years ago.
Oh shit,
I think so. Yeah.
Well, okay, so what was I saying? So I remember hearing I Owe You Everything, and like you guys, I know in your music you kind of capture like the nostalgia of early 2000s screamo, but you still bring something like different to it. When you guys, was that the intent altogether, or all along, or when you guys just got together, is that just what happened?
I think that's kind of was a big thing for us. Hey, Brad could kind of chime in almost on this one.
Brad,
when Brad and I were writing a lot of that stuff, we that was a big thing for us, was actually just like that early kind of sound, and we were trying to grab that and mix it with something new. So it was definitely done intentionally. I wouldn't say that it was something that just kind of happened by accident. I think we were trying to kind of revitalize that kind of sound because it was being done by other bands, and we wanted to kind of bring that forward. It was definitely done on purpose, I'd say.
Hey, well, we like it. All right. Hey, so for a bit of time, I don't know if you guys noticed, but it felt like the genres of like melodic hardcore, screamo, metalcore, things like that, they're starting to fade out a bit. And you heard less of that and more like folk, EDC, and pop music. But it seems like now there's this renaissance going on of like amazing bands, and they're breathing life, like you guys breathing life back into these genres. And even older bands are starting to make comebacks. You have Under Oath, Hopes Fall, Thrice, to name a few. Do you guys feel like that's helping you gain a following?
Probably. Everything trickles down. So with those old timers going back at it, it certainly helps us. I wouldn't be naive enough to think that it doesn't. I wouldn't say that it might be coincidence almost that kind of they're going back at it at the same time that we were, because we were trying to been doing this for the last 5 years. I don't think there was a lot of bands that was kind of a quiet time almost. And like you said, like a bit of a lull for that when we first started writing. But yeah, definitely you've seen a lot of bands kind of come back. I would definitely think that it would influence that, and I guess hopefully kind of trickle down.
Yeah. Because I mean, even bands the ones that didn't take a break, the ones that kind of stuck it out through all those years, Hawthorne Heights is a good example. Story of the year. They have they're not doing screamo stuff anymore. Anything with like hard vocals. It's all like super soft, like punky sounding stuff.
Totally.
So Canada, what's the music scene out there like for you guys? Do you have a hard time booking shows, or are there a lot of bands like you who you can just kind of tour around with?
It's pretty tough.
Yeah, it's not great. Like it's just very spread out, like in terms of major cities. Like
for touring.
I mean, we could be in a way, way worse place in Canada
Yeah.
to be as a band. Like, we're pretty lucky to be from Ottawa. Like, we can get into New York State in like an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in the good part of the New York State.
Well,
We're still pretty far.
Relative. The beautiful camping spot.
Yeah,
If you want to go camping, we can get there right quick, which we love to do.
But yeah, in terms of major cities, like Montreal is 2 hours from us, which a lot of tour bands will go to if they go to Canada. Toronto is like 4.5 hours from us. So when you do if we do an Ontario tour, which is a province we're from, there's not that many places to play. So you end up playing a lot of just like little towns and shit. You know what I mean? You don't have a lot of major cities to choose from. Like we did last summer, we did a tour all the way out east to Nova Scotia with a band called Sleep Shaker that are from. Have you heard of them? They're on Dream Band as well.
Sleep Shaker. No.
Write that down.
Oh, writing it down.
Write it down.
Yep.
Thank you.
They have a pretty big video on Dream Band, so you might have seen it. But so we drove. How far? How many kilometers? It's like 2,000 kilometers or something. To fucking Halifax. Anyways, so yeah, we drove like that on that tour. We covered like 4,500 kilometers and only played
4 cities.
4 cities. The tour was like 12 days, but like most of those shows were in Ontario.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you got to go really far to play a lot of cities. That is why we'll be going to the States very, very shortly. You know, because.
Hey, well, when you guys get here, let us know, man. We'll do a little promotion for you.
Oh yeah,
dude.
Yeah, California is pretty far from us, you know, so that'll be probably the last stop. We'll probably
home from here.
What's that?
So you can fly home from here.
Yeah, seriously. If our van explodes, which it probably would. But yeah, we're gonna start small, and then hopefully we can work our way all the way out there, which would be sweet. Like we when we went to California, we did fly there. Yeah, when we recorded. No way we were driving there.
Yeah, well, that's a really long drive because you'd have to come down into what you said, New York, and then you'd have to go all the way across the country to get here.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's intense, man. So like your shows though, do a lot of people go out to see it, or are you just playing to like the local crowds, or how does that work?
Well, with Ottawa, we're pretty lucky with Ottawa recently. When we first started as a band, it was kind of it was tough. We had a couple homies that were doing their thing, and they were doing really well. But kind of as time has gone, we've actually been lucky enough to see some growth with the underground scene around here. A lot of bands to be thankful for that have been doing a good job, and especially to this venue. I guess you don't really want to call it a venue. It's a house venue. It's a bunch of boys that live in a house that are somehow able to throw shows and not lose their fucking minds. And they've been doing it for years, and you know, we owe a lot to those guys. So because, you know, it's just so much more fun when you can go to somebody's house, and like just house shows are just awesome, you know.
Yeah.
That has been a huge impact on people coming not only to our shows, but like, because you can book a show there and people will show up, like whether they know the bands or not, and they'll be happy to be there, you know, like they'll come down and they'll listen to you, and like it's like a party. It feels almost like the 40s, like swing jazz, where people would just go to like somebody's house and just, you know, it's kind of like that in its own weird fucked up way, which is awesome, you know.
That's cool. You guys ever think about doing like a music video there? Because you see a lot of like the Chiodo's house videos kind of going back around, and that's always fun to watch.
We do have a video there, actually.
Yeah, it was shot while we were doing another video for one of our singles called Corroding. It was done at the same time, so we did it more of like kind of like a, not DIY, but like it was more of us than it was like the actual house itself. There was not a lot of B-roll of like the house and like people partying and stuff. It was just like we asked them to basically film our set.
It's for the song Back Home. It's on Dream Band, so you get a little taste of what the house looks like there. But
yeah, it's in a basement.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Writing down all this stuff. You gotta catalog of stuff to look through. Like,
I know. I got
This-
starting with Napoleon here.
Especially their newest record. Eh?
Yeah. Oh,
A question out there, being from Canada. I'll go to the hockey one in a second, but this one is
Oh no.
this one is how many people out in Canada actually like Rush?
oh,
Everyone.
Everyone.
Brad says everyone.
I guess
man.
everyone over the age of fucking 40, I guess.
Everyone but me. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I mean, I don't have a problem.
I'm right there with you. So
Rush,
you're not the only one.
I cannot listen. I can listen to like maybe 1.5 Rush songs without running to an Advil bottle.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
20 minutes.
Thank
Is it Geddy Lee singing? You're not that you don't.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the
It's-
vocals, yeah, and like it's the vocals mixed in with me trying to understand what he's saying, like get to the what he's singing about.
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's everything for me. I just don't like Rush.
Fun
Yeah.
fact though, I guess people from Florida don't like to be asked about Leonard Skinner because they don't like him very much.
That's
so
that's stupid. though.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Skinner.
apparently not the.
Do you guys love Skinner?
I love Neil Young. I mean, I'm not gonna pick a side here because I got nothing to do with him that whole thing.
doing this,
I hope
the-
Neil Young will remember.
This is the Southern
I
man.
don't literally know anything from Leonard Skinner. It is the Freebird from Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
You should look him up because they're
I think I
probably
can
one of
stop
the
it
best.
fucking Freebird, and you know
Move on.
that's good enough for me.
Yeah,
No.
well, I mean, you got about Freebird's about the length of like 6 regular songs, so
Yeah, that's not their best song though.
No, it's just their notorious song.
Yeah.
That's the one that just gets on the radio. They have
Or American Woman, is that Leonard Skinner?
that's
yes.
Lenny Kravitz, but it's close.
Lenny Kravitz, Skinner.
Shit.
They're same band.
I'll give you effort points on that.
Fuck, whatever.
Can you sing that song right now?
Song so much.
Yeah.
American Woman. Fuck, it's like my least favorite song ever.
His yeah, he's been like he was in and out of the music scene for a long time. But yeah, I remember back when I was in junior high school, that was always on the radio constantly.
Yeah.
Well, I just watched Pitch Perfect 3 and a Lenny Kravitz song was in there.
Oh,
It was-
Yeah. It's Perfect 3, eh? Brad likes that series. Don't you, Brad?
The only thing I can think of when I think of Lenny Kravitz is that picture of him, his leather pants busting
Oh,
open.
the riff.
I don't think about anything else. I don't think about his music. I just think about his hammer cock,
he's
leather pants.
like Macy Gray's twin brother.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, Justin, ask the question, man. Just
All right.
stereotype
so-
him if you want.
Being from, I'm gonna label from Canada. I feel like this is kind of like a crosstown rivalry here. One, are you guys hockey fans?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Huge hockey.
Okay. Two, you guys are from Ottawa. Are we going with you guys more Winnipeg type people? Are you guys Ottawa or?
Wait, Ottawa Senators.
Ottawa, yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
That was it was a tough year to be a Sens fan, but last year was fucking great. They made it to the semifinals there.
Yeah, they were good last season. I don't know what happened. I mean, and the Jets kind of came alive this season a little
Yeah,
bit.
so I was rooting for the Jets there.
Totally. Me too.
But yeah, definitely huge hockey fans for sure.
Oh yeah. We lived like, fuck, I don't know.
You can almost
Like-
see where the Sens play from where we live.
Yeah, it's like right down there, so we can just go and see games. We're very lucky.
We get drunk and walk over there and watch some hockey and
Walk home.
What's the price of the ticket?
Yeah, what's the cost?
yeah, it's not too bad.
You can get like, if you want to get some nosebleeds, you can get them for like $30 if you want.
Oh, that's
Jeez.
killer, dude.
So we're LA Kings fans. Like we've always been since we were kids. Hate the Ducks, cannot stand them.
Fuck the Ducks, dude.
Oh right. Oh jeez. Don't even, I can rant on this for years.
This is how we go. Do you guys like Corey Perry?
No.
More like
Yeah.
more like Katy Perry. Am I
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be scared.
Yeah,
Oh,
brutal,
so-
man.
Yeah.
Perry's a
Brad-
fucking weasel. I hate him.
Brad, get up here.
Drag it up here. This is Brad.
This is Brad.
Hey,
What's up, Brad? Happened.
are you gonna
Sound.
did the sound go out?
To the sound.
Now we're back.
Oh, cool. Hey,
Woohoo!
yeah, scared us for a second. Thought we were falling through the internet.
So back to hating on Corey Perry.
Okay.
Right? We can all agree that we hate him.
Yeah.
Is that guy in the Ducks?
Oh yeah.
What's wrong with him?
He's a
He's
shit
such a
disturber.
pest, man. He's just
Oh,
been
he's
out there
a
for
pest,
so
eh?
long.
Fucking-
It's just like,
Yeah,
No one likes
Fucking
pests
retired.
from other teams. Everyone likes their own fucking pest.
Yeah, right.
Like Clifford. So,
Kyle Clifford. Yeah, we love Kyle Clifford. He gets
exactly.
yeah, never wins, but he's endearing.
Yeah.
Were you guys familiar with Chris Neal from Ottawa? He retired this year, but
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Yep.
like as fans of another team, like, do you hate him?
No, because they didn't play the Kings that often, so they didn't bother me
Yeah.
while they were playing the Kings. But I always enjoyed watching him bother other people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it is. I think that is kind of like the law, though. Like you just hate all the pests on other teams, and
But you love them if they're on your team.
That's true. That's very true.
It's kind of like Peros on the Ducks. Everybody hated that guy too.
unless you're gonna lick people, then
Yeah, I don't know
everybody
how you
hates
could
you.
like Marshawn.
I think everybody hates Marshawn.
Ooh,
The
yeah.
Sedin sisters, we hate those guys.
They're done now.
Yes,
Yeah, that's right. They
thank goodness.
retired. Did you guys? So there's a game where they're playing. Is Vancouver versus Calgary, and there was like a 7-minute fight in the beginning of the game. I think this was like 2 or 3 seasons ago.
Awesome.
And if you listen to like the goalies were mic'd up, and you can hear them, like you see everyone just beating the shit out of each other in the middle of the rink, and they go, "Hey, you want to?" And the goalie's like, "Sure, why not?"
Just so casual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love hockey. Who are you guys pulling for though for the Stanley Cup?
Vegas.
Mixed opinions.
Vegas.
How do you-
I'm pretty happy with both the teams that are in the finals this year. I wouldn't really be too sad about either of them winning.
Yeah.
So I kind of want Washington to win because I want Ovechkin to get a cup.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to see Vegas win on their first year. So either way, it'll be kind of neat to see what happens.
Can we talk about the pregame, like little diddly on the ice? That
Okay,
Vegas
yeah.
does?
Did you
It's
guys watch that?
Stupid,
Yeah,
right?
that was fucked, dude. That was absolutely fucked.
What's
Yeah.
that?
We came like right after it, and we were like, "Dude, you just missed like this fucking whole spiel that Vegas did on their conference final."
It was like
game,
5 or 10. I feel like it was
Oh,
like
it's where they had the fucking gladiators or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Well,
guy was
that-
like shooting fireballs out of his ass.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
When they played the Jets, he brought out the Knights on there, and they showed a jet on the ice, like he's fighting a jet.
Oh yeah.
I hope that when they go to Washington, they just hit him with like a 10-minute montage of Ovechkin's career.
Oh yeah. It'll be something.
All right. Well, we sidetracked here a little bit. Back to the music. I have one more question for you guys. How does the creative process work for you guys? Do each of you guys like bring something different to the table, and then you just kind of weave it all together?
I'm gonna let Brad answer this one. There,
Yeah, you
Brad. Come on.
usually it's starts off with Zach writing like riffs sort of thing. Usually it just starts on guitar. That's the thing. And so I guess Wes, our other guitar player, also started a few songs as well. And we kind of just worked through that idea and kind of like build it up together. So even though they'll bring an idea to band, we can either scrap it, but we usually end up just turning it into what it should be or what it ends up becoming. But yeah, it's from that idea, and then everyone sort of bleeds their own blood on it, basically.
It's changed over the years. You kind of learn how to communicate as a band, not just argue over shit, and you realize like what works in the creative process and what doesn't work, and we kind of have a rule of thumb where like no idea is a bad idea sort of thing. So we like try everything.
So there's no Ringo Starr things going on here. Where you're just like,
No, and it's gotten to a point with us that like even when I'm writing kind of like the embryonic stage of a song, and I don't get too invested in it. Like I used to try and write like until I had like a whole song that was like done, and then I bring it to band. But it was just useless time spent, because when we bring it to band, it's like 1,000 times better after the boys get their hands in it, and Zane adds his kind of opinion in there, Brad his, Patty his, everybody has their opinions on the song, and no matter what, it's going to change, right? So it's better to it's not necessarily the more you bring of a song to the table, the better it's going to be in the end. That's not necessarily how it works. I think it's more important to have a good communication and not settle for a part that is just kind of subpar. And like we all know in the back of our heads if a part is dope or if it's not, you know. And just kind of having an open communication and just not worrying too much about, like, for me at least, when I write the actual beginning of the song, to have it be done. You know, now when we write tracks, we write like I'll write like a intro, a verse, a hook, and like maybe a bridge, maybe. Usually just it's probably just those three things, and then we'll bring it to band, and then because I know it's gonna get way better after that anyway. So why would I waste my time? You know.
Yeah. Is there like any problems, like if you guys don't like something, is there any problem like not saying that, or like do you hold it back and just kind of try to work with what it is?
I think like Zach said, in the beginning, it was more of like definitely like Let It Be Known, for example.
Oh,
he just wrote, him and Brad just wrote that. And then by the time that was written, I joined, and that was what we played and we recorded. And then as time went on, Hollow Embrace is more of everyone collectively going at it. And then, yeah, farther down the line, it just became everybody having their own opinions. And like they said, just sometimes some more intricate ideas, but sometimes just very basic outlines and kind of everyone getting their hands in there.
And plus Sam. And then plus you add a good producer on top of that kind of open form of communication, and then you got a recipe for something good, you know?
Yeah, nice. And then so the vocals, do you guys have a say in the vocals, or how the vocals are sang or screamed?
Yeah.
Or
Totally. Yeah. Everybody has a hand in everything. You know, Patty's vocals are just as much on the chopping block as our song is to him. You know, like Patty can sit there while we're trying to flesh out a song and be like, hey, you know, do this, do that, you know, like throw his opinion out there. And then once he starts to the thing is about the vocals is you get an idea for it as we're practicing it, but we never really get the full effect until we start to do pre-pro, right? Where with like the writing of the song, we're doing that all live, right? Like we're all kind of doing it. Like, yeah, Patty's probably jotting down his lyrics, and like we can hear what he's doing when we're jamming it, and we can get like a bit of a feel for it, but we don't really get into it until it becomes like the pre-production and the actual production of the record that you really start to get into it, right? Because the vocals, it's, you know, we then you get to be like, okay, what exactly are you saying here? Like, what's your melody gonna be on this, you know? And like, so it's kind of funny, like for Patty at least, he gets to kind of forefront his opinion on the songwriting at first, and then we kind of do the same thing to him when we actually hit the studio, you know, so it kind of works.
That's cool. So it's all very coherent, not just the music, but you guys are too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a team game for sure for us.
That's awesome. That's because you hear about a lot of like dysfunctionality in bands. Like this happens too, like with just creative people in general. You put a lot of them in the same room together and everyone wants to be like the most creative person.
Yeah, of course.
And then the bassist gets forgotten about.
And then the bassist.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Brad, do you take the most crap from them?
I don't know actually who takes the most crap anymore. We pass that torch around every now and then.
yeah.
It's a shared burden.
So it's not just the bassist.
No. Wes has the torch right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So the future of Mayfield, where do you guys see yourselves, you know, a couple years down the line? Where would you like to be?
Touring a lot.
Touring more. Yeah, we've kind of that's been a tough thing for us in the past, is kind of getting our feet on the road. But now, you know, we got our visas and we feel kind of a little bit more free to kind of tour out there and really kind of stretch our arms out to people who have wanted to see us play live before and we've never been able to. And we just want to keep touring.
Yeah, we're going to try to make up for lost time. Like we're going to be doing a lot of touring in the US as of very, very soon, and just as much as we can. It's hard too, because we all live on our own and we have cars and we have jobs, and it's hard to balance everything, you know, and pay. And like this band has been self-funded since the beginning, and we've sunk a lot of money into it. So finding time to finding lifestyles, I guess, that we can all have where we're able to, at our leisure, tour when we want has been, we've been cultivating that up to this point. I think we have a pretty good system going now. And so we're going to take advantage of that and tour as much as we can.
Nice. Yeah, because that's always a challenge you hear about too. We were talking to, do you guys ever listen to Hope's Fall?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking to Adam Morgan, the drummer of Hope's Fall. We had him on a couple months ago, and he was saying that they went on a break, but what got them all back together was that they were all just in a bowling league, and they just got bored and went home, started jamming after bowling practice and having a beer, and then the music just started coming together. So they called Jay up, and that's what got them back on the scene.
That's beautiful. That's a wonderful story. That's sick. I love it.
Right? Right. What I mean, like,
that just gets me all fired up. It sounds
yeah, but I mean, like they're talking about it is hard to, like, balance your work life and having kids and all that stuff. So,
luckily none of us have kids. I think that would fucking be the nail in the coffin.
I hope that happens to us in 30 years. We're all just bowling together, getting drunk, and we're like 30. No, in our 30s.
You guys start bowling now. It's cool.
And that's like how your best record is born.
Exactly.
All right, cool, guys. Well, do you guys want to do any kind of plug for yourselves before we sign off here?
Probably just keep checking up on our Facebook for what we got, at least for what we got, where we're touring upcoming. I mean, check out our new music video for Blossom that we dropped last week. And anything after that, just, keep on living life.
And when they look you up on iTunes, you are not the soul singer or the rap group.
No, they can do better.
Okay, all right. No, we just gotta clarify.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Next Rush.
Yeah,
coming out of Canada.
The Next Rush.
Right here. Calling it now.
Their new album will come with a bottle of Tylenol. All right, cool, guys. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, this has been another episode of Topicocalypse, and we're joined by Mayfield. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.
You guys are fantastic as well.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Justin.
Real quick question. Do you want me to? I want to throw one of your songs at the end of the cast here. Do you guys have a preference?
I think Blossom would probably be appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Unless you guys want to acapella something right now, which would be cool.
Do we have anything prepared?
Can you do it?
Hit us with the pentatonics.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, we're not too great on the spot.
That's cool. That's cool.
No. We're not the freestyle rap group that also comes up on
guys. All right, cool, guys. Well, thank you so much. If you're looking for this podcast, you can find it on iTunes, podcast.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher. And I'm sure I'm missing like 12 other outlets there, but go ahead and just put Topicocalypse into the internet and something will come up. You can find us on the internet at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time, it has been Justin's pleasure to serve you.
Yes, sir.
Boys, see you, dudes.
All right, thanks, guys.
Later.
Late.
See you.